Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. Today, let's bling up some shoes. This is so much fun and easy to do, and it requires no sewing. All you'll need is a pair of shoes. You can use boots or sneakers. I'm going to use these that I purchased for under $20 at Walmart. And then you'll need some permanent glue. I'm using the E6000 that comes with a very small tip. E6000 is usually the glue of my choice, but any permanent glue will work. And then you'll need some flat back crystals. I have these clear ones that I bought at a craft store in 2 different sizes, and I'm going to see which size I like best. You can use multiple sizes all in ones, or if you choose something bigger, something smaller. It's really personal preference as far as what you want. So I'm just going to take a few crystals in each size and put these on the shoes, just kind of seeing how they look, if I like the bigger ones or the smaller ones better. And just play around with them and get a feel and be creative and decide which ones I'm going to use for these. So far I'm liking the small ones better, but I'm going to try out with some of the bigger ones to see how they work. Nope, I still like the small ones better, so that's the one I'm going to go with. Now, as far as where you put them on the shoes, hey, you do you. You could put them on the toe of the shoes. You could put them all over the shoes. Really anywhere you wanted to. It's just personal preference, and depending on how your shoe looks, you may have a part that makes it real easy. Just it's more defined, so it's real easy to pick a section. Or shoes like these, I'm just going to do kind of that center section right there. Now you can do just the outside part of the shoe, or do both the outside and the inner part. Again, that's also up to you. So I've put my small little tip on my E6000 tube of glue, and I'm just going to start by running a small line of glue. I would not recommend gluing the entire thing at once, because you'll probably end up with dried glue once you get to the end. So I'm going to start right along the sole of the shoe with just a small line of glue. Now with these crystals, I found it was much easier to use a pair of tweezers to pick them up rather than my fingers. I actually had a pair of long tweezers that I had in with my sewing things, so I was able to use those. But you're just going to set the crystals on top of the glue. Now this E6000 glue does take a little bit of a time before it sets, which is good, because then I can move them around a little bit if I need to. Once I've finished covering the section of glue that I laid down, then I will go to the next section. And these are the tweezers that I have that really helped when picking up the crystals. And see, the glue is still tacky, so I can still move the crystals around a little bit to make sure that they're on there even. I went ahead and did the entire outline first, and then filled in the center once the outline was done. You don't need a whole lot of glue, especially if you're using like a permanent bond glue. And the reason I suggest permanent is because you're doing shoes, and these are going to be out in the weather. You may splash through puddles, they may get rained on, something like that, and you want your crystals to stay on. You can do this on canvas shoes, suede shoes. These are like a faux leather look shoes. Pretty much any kind you want, dress shoes, sneakers, any style. Any type of flat back crystals will work as well. Sometimes you can find them in the jewelry department, or sometimes you can find them in the department with like t-shirts and dye and appliques and things like that. As you see, I'm just working in little sections at a time. A little bit of glue down, and then the crystals. And the light in the room makes the crystals look, I think, a little bit different color on some of them, but they were just all clear crystals that I'm using. So after I had those 3 done, then I went ahead and did that 4th line and then filled in. Then I went ahead and did the inside of the shoe as well. But you definitely, the top of the shoe would be cute to do, the toe of the shoe. You fill in the whole section. You can definitely fill in the whole section on the inner side as well. When you're done with one sneaker, you can move to the second one and do the same process over again. I did look back at the first sneaker I did just to make sure I was kind of using the same amount of crystals in my lines, so I could kind of adjust, but I don't think anybody would notice. I don't think there's going to be anybody that's looking at my shoes that closely, but I did try to keep the amount of crystals I used pretty similar to the other side. So just working in little sections again, putting on the glue, and then putting the crystals in the glue. And you can say the glue is still a little tacky, so I'm able to move the crystals around to really make the most of filling in the spots. I really didn't want to see any of the sneaker through the crystals, so I tried to cram as many crystals in as possible. I know blinging up sneakers is an easy way to revamp some old shoes, or maybe you found a cute pair on clearance that you can use. And if you go search the internet for shoes with the crystals and the rhinestones, they can get pretty expensive. So this is an easy and inexpensive way to do it yourself. I think the bag of crystals cost me about $4, and I didn't even really make a dent in how many crystals. I still have tons left. And then I think the glue is about another $4 or so, and I had a lot of that left over too. So the shoes being less than $20, and then with the supplies, I would have to say it probably cost me less than $25, shoes and crystals, in order to do this. And I've got a one-of-a-kind pair of shoes that can go from day to night and will work with jeans or a dress, and that I can style many different ways. It doesn't take long to put the crystals on.